And the gentleman from New York, Mr. Torres, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
I'm just curious, Ms. Yentl, do you think providing every child with an education is a utopian dream?
I don't.
Do you believe providing every child with housing is a utopian dream?
No.
And do you believe, like education, no one can be reasonably expected to succeed in America without access to safe, decent, affordable housing?
Absolutely, and the research shows it again and again.
And on a personal level, I would not be in Congress were it not for public housing and the stability and opportunity it gave me and my family. My own life journey from public housing in the Bronx to the House of Representatives in Washington, D.C. is a product of public investment in affordable housing. And my Republican colleagues would have you believe that there is excessive government intervention in housing. Now, I will concede when it comes to land use, there is certainly exclusionary zoning, which has been a barrier to addressing the affordability crisis. But when it comes to funding, the Republican talking point could not be farther from the truth. The problem is not too much government investment in affordable housing. The problem is too little. There is insufficient housing supply and insufficient housing subsidy. What is the extent of the gap between the demand for affordable housing and the supply of affordable housing in the United States?
For households with the lowest income, there's a shortage of 7.3 million homes, affordable and available to them. So another way of saying that same number is for every 10 of the lowest income households throughout the country, there are fewer than 4 apartments that are affordable to them. And if I could just say that we talk a lot about the cost of providing housing to be affordable for extremely low-income people, but we don't talk enough about the costs of inaction. It's not like if we're not providing housing for extremely low-income people, we're not paying. We are. We pay as a country to allow for homelessness and housing poverty to persist, and we pay for it through lowered educational attainment, through health challenges for children and families and increased health costs as a result, for families unable to obtain and retain well-paying jobs. There's a study from Children's Health Watch that shows over the next 10 years, we'll pay $111 billion in avoidable healthcare costs because we allow homelessness to continue to persist. So we're paying one way or another. I think a better use of funds is to invest in solutions to keep homes affordable for the lowest income people.
Right, so homelessness and housing insecurity are not only bad morals, it's bad economics.
That's right.
During COVID, we saw essential workers, many of them earning minimum wage, put their lives at risk during the peak of the pandemic so that the white-collar workforce could safely shelter in place and work from home. Is there a single county in America where an essential worker earning minimum wage could afford a one-bedroom apartment?
There are very, very few communities throughout the country where that's possible.
What about a two-bedroom apartment?
There's no community where it's
So out of 3,000 counties, there's not a single area in which an essential worker earning minimum wage could afford a two-bedroom apartment.
That's right.
And do you believe it's wise for Congress to stand by idly while America becomes dangerously unaffordable to its essential workforce?
No, housing is a basic human need, and as you said very well, people can't succeed in other areas of their lives if they don't have a home to go to at the end of the day. Children need a place to study, people need a place to unwind. All of us know the value of home in our lives, and we need to provide that for our essential workers, for everyone with extremely low incomes.
Because I do have a number of colleagues who seem intent on substituting free market fundamentalism for evidence-based policy. Is there any evidence at all that the free market, if left to its own devices, unaided by any government subsidy, can magically create the affordable housing that we need at the levels of affordability that we need?
No, in fact, the evidence very clearly says the opposite.
So suppose there were no government intervention in the form of public housing. Would there be less or more housing insecurity and homelessness?
More.
What if there were no Section 8?
More.
What if there were no LIHTC or tax-exempt bond financing or CRA credits?
All of these are essential ways that the federal government provides resources to ensure that some people with extremely low incomes can stay stably housed, but the funding is far under the need. The federal government only provides funding for every 1 in every 4 households who needs housing assistance and is eligible receives it. So we have what is essentially a housing lottery system in our country where only the lucky 20% gets the help that they need.
Thank you.
Thank the gentleman. The gentleman from Wisconsin, Mr. Fitzgerald, is now recognized.